Hello and welcome. You're watching Newsx and I'm Shivani Singh. Two-time champions England and West Indies will go head-to-head in a repeat of the title clash after 10 years at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. England versus West Indies could prove decisive in determining who finishes top of Group C. West Indies began their campaign with a reasonably comfortable victory and over Scotland, and though they will know that they must improve significantly to overcome England. Now, West Indies, of course, possesses plenty of batting power, and Shimron Hetmyer underlined his value with a brutal 64 of 35 balls in the opening game. And this is in fact while Rovman Powell, Brandon King and Shai Hope all have an array of shots that could in fact lead and that could in fact test England's bowling attack. Let's now take a look at some of the stats from the venue. This is happening inside the Wankhede Stadium, and obviously this is something that everyone will be looking forward to. So let's look at the stats of the venue where we have England versus West Indies. This is the group stage, match 15, it's today, and this is the venue. So T20 since 2024, there have been 31 T20s since 2024, and the average score is around 184 with 7 wickets. And when you bat first or if you bat second, what's the score like? If you bat first, there is a 9.31 possibility of winning, and if you bat second, in fact you look at a 9.09. So you need to bat first as per the stats that are coming in. So this is in fact something that is also coming forward. Let's look at pace versus spin, how they are performing. Pace 68% overs and spin 32% overs. The ER is effective run rate is 9.59, and over here for spin is 8.11. And we have the SR at 16.6, and for spin we have it at 19.3. So this is the pace versus spin battle at the Wankhede Stadium. Let's look at the bowling phase. In the power play, you have 86% pace and you have an ER of 8.85. In the middle overs, which is around 7 to 15, you have spin around 53% and ER of 8, and in the death overs, you're looking at 88% of pace and an ER of 11.1. So these are the bowling by phase stats at the venue. So this is something that is in fact, we are looking at the venue also because this is a much anticipated match, and with that I am being joined by Sunil Yashkalra, cricket scholar, and Roland Butcher, who is a former West Indies selector and cricketer, for an exclusive chat. Sunil, the floor is yours.
Match that is going to be played. My only question to Roland Butcher, he's a prolific former batsman for Middlesex, but I just want to know if he's playing at the Wankhede Stadium right now. Is his heart with the West Indies team, or is his heart with the English cricket, considering he's wearing both the hats together? Roland, if I can get you quickly onto the show. Roland, pleasure talking to you. What does your heart say when you talk about the match tonight?
Well, Sunil, first of all, great pleasure to be talking to you again. Yeah, this is an interesting game. In terms of my heart, listen, I have been very fortunate to have been in both camps. Obviously born in the West Indies, being a West Indies selector, playing for England, so I'm very fortunate to have had that experience. Most people don't get that sort of experience. For me, really, this game, listen, I'm in neither camp today. I'm just really an observer. I will give my thoughts on how I feel the game will go and for the reasons it will go. But all in all, I'm really looking forward to a very good and interesting game between two sides that have been pretty competitive against each other for the last few years.
Roland, let me get you here. Again, another very important question. Now the World Cup is becoming open to the other teams as well, and the big boys have started coming to play. With this match, do you think the World Cup is now suddenly getting into a bigger scheme of things, Roland?
Yeah, I think the first few games are always a bit of a show, but the business end starts now because every game won or lost now is extremely important because qualification out of the group now is what is most important. So I think we're at the business end now where teams cannot afford to lose games. This game today is the team that wins really gets out of the group. The one that loses, I've got a nervous few days. So that's the importance of the game.
Well, if I were to ask you, the pitch plays an important role in today's context, the humidity, and looking at the Wankhede Stadium. What do you think the pitch looks like for both the team? I mean, who's going to have an upper hand, considering if you look at the flat track here at the Wankhede?
I think the pitch is going to be one consideration, but either team will look at their makeup and decide, well, what is the best way of me winning this game? I don't think the pitch will have a great deal to do in terms of the West Indies decision as to what they do. The West Indies will want to chase. There's no question about that because they'll feel that is their best chance. The bowlers really, at the moment, cannot really defend the score. So they will hope that England win the toss and bat. If they win the toss, I'm pretty sure that they will field first because they'll want to bat last.
It's a good analogy. You've said that they can't defend themselves, but at the same time, when you look at the Cricket World Cup coming in, were you surprised the way the problems that happened in the Cricket World Cup in the last 3-4 days? People not wanting to shake hands, not willing to play the matches. Then somebody saying that I'm going to be compensated. Were you miffed by all the happenings that have happened in the World Cup cricket?
Listen, these days, so nothing surprises me, least of all in cricket. Obviously, there's been a lot of political decisions involved with this World Cup at the moment, which is causing a few problems. Obviously, it started really with Bangladesh. I mean, I would honestly say that I feel Bangladesh really should have got a little bit more support. They made a decision, obviously, which the team didn't make because, the team is only part of a country. As you know, once your country decides that they're going in a direction, the players have no choice whatsoever but to go along. That's really started the whole situation. And as a result, obviously, other people will get involved. I don't think at the end of the day, it's going to really mar the quality of cricket that we will see in the last stages of the competition. But at the moment, it's very much a distraction.
Absolutely. When you have teams like Afghanistan taking them on a super over, what is your view of the unglamorous team who just quietly come in, give a scare, and go back? You think they're the party poppers? Poopers, rather.
Well, listen, I mean, I chose Afghanistan as my dark horses in this tournament to go to the semi-final. Today's game was a crucial one, and really they were very unlucky to lose this game, which will make it quite difficult for them now to get through. But listen, the so-called weaker nations are certainly closing the gap in T20 cricket on the other teams. They're getting a little bit more exposure over the years now playing against better teams, so they will get better. And, I will not be at all surprised to see if one of these other weaker teams cause an upset in the tournament.
Well, I'm joined by Asadullah Khan. He's a former Afghanistan player, selector, coach, CEO, and whatnot. Asad Bhai, if I were to ask you, what did you make of the match today, the super over that we went into?
I think that was a best match ever I've seen in the cricket history. That was I think some bad decisions made by the captain or the coach maybe that they sent the Nabi instead of Gurbaz because Gurbaz already played a magnificent innings and he played the first super over as well. So that was the only reason Afghanistan lost the match and out from the World Cup. I think so. I think it's going to be very, very difficult to come back into the World Cup. But anyhow, that was a very good game. They played very well. Now I will not. Nobody can say that they will do the upset. Afghanistan is doing the upsets. So now they are a complete team. They can beat any full member. They can play. They can play against the best nation. So that is from my side.
Well, as we walk into the second week of the World Cup cricket, I just wanted to ask you what's the update on Naveen ul Hulk, the kind of injury that he went through. Do you think if he would have played today, Naveen, things would have been different?
Of course, he's a depth over specialist. He bowled in the leagues. He bowled for Afghanistan in the past, and he's a very intelligent guy to bowl in the depth overs and in the with the new ball as well. So that was the only difference because Afghanistan was hoping for the World Cup to be Naveen in, and he bowled the depth overs. But
Well, absolutely.
injury
Well,
injury can happen. That is the part of the
uh,
game as well.
Roland Butcher, just jump in here. The role of the fast bowlers is very crucial in today's context. But what do you make up of Jofra Archer? He started off with a bang, then suddenly went for too many runs. I think what is your view about his assessment, his line length, delivery? Because 60% of the deliveries are scoring shots for the batters when they face Jofra Archer. Roland Butcher.
Yeah, I think Joffa at times bowls test match lengths. And really, in T20 cricket, test match lengths are not the way to bowl because it allows people to swing the bat. They can get edges, etc. So, he'll either have to be a little bit fuller or a little bit shorter. I think at the beginning of the innings, he can be a bit shorter. He can bowl a bit more aggressively and bowl more short pitch deliveries. Obviously, at the back end, then it's about getting the ball into the block hole. That's not his main strength of getting the ball consistently into the block hole, bowling Yorkers. But he has an important role to play because, with his early pace, if he pick up a couple of wickets early, he could set the West Indies back significantly.
Well, your English cricket has definitely believed in the slam bang version of it. I think you were not pretty bad at it. You still hold the record of the top 5 fastest half centuries on debut or significant. What's going in England's mind when they come and take on the bat? You played prolifically for the Middlesex for 2 decades, but more importantly, what went wrong that day when you started scoring those flashback kind of runs, and now even your players don't stop playing that slam bang version of cricket?
Well, the difference really back then, when West Indies were power in T20 cricket, they had world-class players that could get into any side in the world. If you think of the Chris Gales, etc., those were exceptional T20 players. Now, if you analyse this current West Indies side, there are very few players who will actually get into a World 11 or any other side in the world at this level. So, that is the difference. Quality players before, not so good players this time. The other thing West Indies are doing now is they're not absolutely certain of the team that they want to play. Right up to a couple of weeks before the World Cup, they were still using matches against Afghanistan to identify remaining players in the team. That is a problem. They've got a fairly good record against England, but I think this particular game, England got a wake-up call in the last game because they could easily have been beaten. I think that would have galvanised them to really get their heads down and want to play good cricket. And the other good thing that England really have now in their armoury, which they didn't have years ago, is that, they can hit as many sixes as anyone else these days. They've got players who can do that. So that makes them a very dangerous side. But I think West Indies will have to think, well, we've had good results against England in the last couple of years, so that should stand us in good stead. But I think England's wake-up call may just be the thing that tips the balance.
Well, Roland, before I let you go and also get Asadullah's view onto this, let me stir up a little controversial question to you. How easy is it for one person to be the coach, selector, chairman of selector, everything put together? You know what I'm talking about, Darren Sammy here. Well, is it fair in today's context? And then I'll move on to Asad for his views.
Well, Sunil, I think it is very unfortunate, and I feel for Darren Sammy because it really is a huge burden to ask. This particular juncture in international cricket, where players are traveling not just around the world with their country, but they're traveling around with their franchises, so they're constantly on the road. I think for one coach to take on the role as the coach for all formats of the game, as well as the owner selector, is a burdensome one. I think Darren Sammy really has been handed an impossible task. He probably believes that he can shoulder that responsibility. I think eventually it will break him because it's just going to be too much for any international coach in this present day of cricket.
Right. In fact, I'll come back to you.